Well, 2016 was an auspicious year for the China-focused coal-bed methane producer GreenDragon gas. With me in the studio to find out just why is founder, CEO and chairman Randeep Grewal. Randeep, very good to see you. Thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having us, Andrew.
First off, let's just reminisce for a moment. 10 years as a listed company, knocking on 2 decades in China. Still an attractive investment?
100%. I've been doing this, as you correctly said, for 2 decades, and I wouldn't be doing it if I didn't think it's a good investment. So yes, it's a lot of fun. It's been a lot of pain, but it's certainly a good investment.
I'm sure plenty of exciting things happened during 2016. One of them, your maiden profit.
Correct. So that was in 2015. As we go into 2016, what we're truly focused on is completing what we've started. So this is a year to monetize and start monetizing the returns that we've been working so hard to do over the last 20 years.
Looking back for a moment, with the benefit of hindsight, is there much that you would have changed about 2016?
Not really. I mean, I think 2016, we started the year off with a very clear objective, which we always announce our objectives in January as we execute through the course of the year, which we have. And I think one of our objectives, for example, was to move one of our 8 exploration blocks. So we've got 8 blocks in total, 2 in commercial production. And to move a 3rd block from exploration into development, which we just announced a year ago, which was a month ago, I beg your pardon, which was Guizhou. So no, we wouldn't do anything different. I think we're pretty much on track.
It's been a bit of a shaky year for commodities. Have you been affected much by the rocky ride?
Beautiful thing about being in China is we're not. I mean, certainly when we take a look at the macro trend that there is in China, there's been a bit of deflation in the RMB to US dollar. So when you think of results and you think of revenues in dollar terms, the deflation has a bit of an effect. But I think when it comes to commodity prices, certainly we've seen a bit of a downtick in terms of energy prices itself in China. But the government's been, again, very creative and constructive. They've doubled our subsidy to essentially offset that change in pricing that we saw come through. Again, the benefit of working in China is the stability, and we really enjoy that.
Look, you mentioned Guizhou and the GGZ block. Next big step going into commercial production.
Next, so Guizhou is very exciting. I mean, and it's a good analogy to take a look at. GSS took us almost 15 years to develop, but we did a lot of technology development there. Guizhou we started concentrating on just about 2 years ago, and it's really gone from exploration to development, and we fully expect it to be in commercial production going into next year. So very accelerated condition, as we would expect the other blocks to be, but Guizhou is the first one we picked. So yes, we are looking at certifying reserves in Guizhou prior to year end. We'll develop the ODP plan next year. And certainly our doors are wide open to invite a partner in because we do see that as our farm out block going forward.
Look, have you got any preferred options in terms of funding this?
Preferred option is a solid partner who's interested in domestic gas production in China. I mean, that is exclusively our preferred option. We will not invite someone in that we don't feel comfortable with. We're not looking for someone to book reserves. We're not looking for someone to write us a check. We're looking exclusively to develop the gas resource and put it on production. That's what we're looking for from a scale perspective.
Tell me a little bit more about GSS 008. I'm fascinated by the name. It's the gift that really does keep on giving.
It is a gift that keeps on giving and shall keep on giving. GSS today came on production March of 2008 and lots of 8s. GSS 008 in 2008. It's now 2016 and you know, she continues steady as she goes. I think it's a great example of the potential for the Lefabric technology. I mean, we truly mastered producing gas without a drop of chemical, without fracking, in highly faulted coals. And GSS is the first of many Lefabric wells that is doing the same. But GSS today is already past 1.3 BCF of production and no decline yet. And that cost us about $1.3 million to drill. So it is a great success story, but it is the beginning of a string of successes when it comes to Lefabric technology.
Certainly. You've seen a drop in revenue corresponding to the drop in gas prices. Is there anything investors should be concerned about at all?
Look, I don't think so, because when you take a step back and look at it from a global perspective, On net margins, net cash margins, so revenue minus expenses, is still in the $6 to $8 range per MCF. That is almost 3 to 4 times Henry Hub. That is twice the revenue here in the UK. So on a global basis, absolutely not. We are still in a very lucrative position. Again, goes to credit the Chinese central government policies that stabilize that revenue chart for us, that we don't have to be worried about what our net margins look like.
Look, we mentioned earlier about commodity prices. Let's touch for a moment on oil and gas, the sector. Has it bottomed out? What's your view?
Look, I think it's a new plateau. So my view is that oil is a $45 to $50 commodity long term. That's the band in my view. I think it might pop up a bit over years to come. It might dip a little bit, but that's, if you will, that's the way we would forecast if we were in the oil business, which we're not. We're exclusive in the gas business. But that's our view. I think it's a $45, $50 commodity long term.
Now, look, you specialize in alternative clean energy. Hard to avoid hearing about the fracking debate that's been raging in the UK lately.
Right.
Where do you sit with that? What's your view?
So look, our view is that we certainly on our own, without any mandate from any third parties or frankly any pressure from any government parties like you have here in the UK on anti-fracking, we certainly went on our own and said we did not want to frack. Coal bed methane or coal reserves that we are extracting are very shallow, are close to the aquifer. So we are concerned about fracking. In fact, we're anti-fracking faulted coal seams. So we developed LeFabric as a means of degassing the coal without fracking. I think when I take a look at that view and come across to the UK has an abundance coal bed methane resource, which again can be developed. The same way we're doing it in the middle of China, we can certainly do that here in the UK. So there is a way to degas domestic gas trapped in coal seams in the UK without fracking. Having said that, when you go to shale, which is a far deeper reserve, you're further away from the natural aquifer, and fracking technologies have got significantly better. And certainly you can frack shale environmentally better today than you could a decade ago. So certainly there's an improvement there, but we'll rather stay out of that debate because we're not frackers. We're, if you will, the anti-frackers.
I certainly don't blame you. Well, look, 2016, hugely exciting year for you. You seem extremely passionate about what you're doing. Looking ahead, 2017, just as exciting?
Very much so. I think more of the same. What's exciting about where we are in the cycle is that when you've spent 20 years building something, it's now starting to give its rewards. And all the pain we've been through in development, whether it's technology or other issues around development in China, the rewards are just as sweet. So 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, it's going to keep on giving. A great example that you said earlier, GSS 8 just keeps giving. I think China asset as a whole will keep giving. It's just started.
Randeep, an absolute pleasure to meet you. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you.